is the Rangers Journal Night.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are watching this. You are watching Rangers Journal. This is the Lowdown, and my name is Doug, giving you the Lowdown on all of Rangers' upcoming opponents throughout the season. This is our penultimate Lowdown, only 2 games to go now. Dundee United facing us next on Wednesday evening before we go away to Hibernian. Another 2 games with little to go for us, but that are big for the opposition, Aberdeen. A little disappointing from their point of view. I would imagine if I was an Aberdeen fan, I was expecting them to be a lot more aggressive and on the front foot with their rivals having lost points, but they were quite defensive overall, and it wasn't the most exciting of games until the second half when Rangers kind of picked up and really dealt the blows to win the game quite comfortably in the end. Looking at the form going into this match, I said in the last Lowdown that it was the first one I'd had where we had no wins in our previous 5 matches, and I'm glad to see that that's a trend that is not going to continue. Coming into this game with that comfortable 4-0 dispatchment of Aberdeen. Dundee United are on a bit of a run of losses, having lost to Celtic, Hibernian and St Mirren in their past 3, 2 wins prior to that. So they'll be looking to try and pick up their form if they want to challenge for that second place. The chance for that third place even behind us in second. They're currently sitting in 5th on 50 points. And it is quite tight between themselves, Hibernian and Aberdeen, all 3 having lost at the weekend and within 3 points of one another, respectively. In terms of our head-to-head, 4 wins out of the past 5, just that draw in November. So we've got a good upper hand there. And again, a game going into at home, I think we should be confident of coming out in victory, especially now that we can take a little bit of confidence from that previous match. In terms of what we've to expect from Dundee United, obviously we've covered them 3 times now, so nothing really new to say in that regard. I've got the same sort of main points to come up as the last show, which I'll leave there for you to have a read through. As I say, just like the Aberdeen game, the main aspect of this may well be how Dundee United choose to come into this game. They really need to win if they want to make up some ground and push for that 3rd position. So again, my expectation is that they'll come at us. As I say, teams really have had confidence when playing us this season. And despite coming off a win, I would imagine Dundee United would still feel that they can attempt to do something, especially with us having nothing to play for. They will drop into sort of a 4-5-1 low block without the ball to keep their defensive solid. They have been playing with a decent 3-4-3, which has kind of been up and down for them in the season, but on the whole has obviously done reasonably well to get them into the position that they are. They've got some good attacking players, including Dalby, who's been obviously a revelation for them, scoring plenty of goals. We've had him out previously in our Danger Men section. So for this one's Danger Men, I've picked out a couple of different players. Christian Trapanowski has been playing well for them up front. He's their 2nd highest goal scorer. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists in the league, and 6 and 4 in all competitions from his 27 matches in the league there. You can see that from his shots attempted percentile, he's attempting more shots than over 90% of similar players in his position. So getting a lot of shots away and scoring goals just over half of more than similar players in his position. The second man I've highlighted here is Vico Sevelts. I'm not quite sure if that's how to pronounce that correctly, but he's a certain midfielder, although they have been playing him sort of as a wing back as well. He had 2 goals, 3 assists in the league. He's got a couple extra in all comps from 33 matches. In terms of defensive actions, he's right up at the top in terms of percentile. So he has been defensively strong for them. And aerial duels, he's winning more aerial duels than over 90% of his compatriots in similar leagues. So a reasonably strong player there, and one that to keep an eye out for in terms of providing some assists for them. In terms of the Rangers team that's going to take on Dundee United, ultimately, Barry said of his choice going into the Aberdeen game that he'd picked the same team as Celtic, as they'd played well in that game, and so he felt that they deserved the opportunity to continue that. largely happened again, with maybe a few exceptions. So, given how Bally has tended to pick teams, I'm expecting to potentially pick the same team again. However, I have put Eggman up front instead of Dessers. He's maybe done enough with that performance to get himself a start. Was a wonderful goal against Dundee United and a good performance overall when he came on the field. So he potentially earns a start, but other than that, I've basically just kept the same team there, as that's what I think Barry's potentially going to do. Maybe he makes a change with Barami, perhaps, but other than that, unless he's enforced to, I don't really see him making changes, as that's not really what he's been doing thus far. When looking at our game changer, there's only really one player that can be highlighted right now, and that is Nicholas Raskin. Again, another really good performance against Aberdeen. Came in with 2 assists, and that, which brings him up to 10 assists in total, and 3 goals. He's really becoming into his own and is a key player in that Rangers team now. To say whether he stays for the sort of the new era of the club, I think will really come down to his contract situation, and what kind of bids we receive for him. If he's going to sign new contracts, then by all means we can build a team around him, keep him for another year, maybe 2. Whereas if he has got eyes elsewhere, then now is probably the time to sell him with his stock so high if we get good bids in. But definitely a player that can change games for us, as has shown throughout the season. So either looking at predictions, so Aberdeen I predicted 2-0, so I got the correct result with the wrong score, so we managed to get 4 out of that. What was a really good and strong second half. First half a bit dull, but we got there in the end, and we got what I asked for, which was a nice sort of routine, easy victory. And I'm hoping that we can carry that through and do the same again. So I'm gonna push it instead of 2-0, I'll say 3-0. I'll split the difference this time. Against Dundee United. Let's hope for another performance with maybe an improved first half, and sort of push on to a bit more. So that's all from the Lowdown this episode. Just a quick one. Obviously, we've at this point in the season, we've covered all the teams to great depth, and we've not much to talk about in terms of we're not fighting for anything. So not a huge amount to discuss, just going over the basics there. We've got one more Lowdown at Hibernian, and then we'll be on a break for the season. We'll come back in the new season with some new stuff for you, so look forward to that. Reminds me to ask you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the Rangers Journal content, and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we go live or put up new videos. My name is Doug. I've been the Lowdown for you today. This is Rangers Journal, and please remember that every night is Rangers Journal night. Goodbye.